Welcome to Bedford County Sports Talk Live, hosted by David Thomas, Bill Anderson, and Kenny Parker. Brought to you by First Bank of Shelbyville and Kincaid Service Company at 400 Madison Street in Shelbyville. Let's talk some sports. Here are your hosts.
Good morning, everybody. We're back.
Football,
It's football
and more
time.
football.
It's good to be back.
Yeah,
Football.
Great to be back.
yeah, it is. It's been a day or two, guys, and I've missed it. But we're back, ready to roll. And football season is upon us. High school football, all kinds of stuff going on.
You realize this will be like 10 months in a row we're fixing to roll on
Yeah,
Saturday mornings.
yeah.
That's
That'd be
about what it
great.
goes down to.
That'd be
Yeah,
more than that.
guys, before we get into this stuff and start talking about some specifics and about our local teams, we want to thank our sponsors, First Bank here of Shelbyville, and also Kincaid
Service.
Company.
at 400 Madison Street here in Shelbyville. We thank those two sponsors. They've been with us a long time. Let's pause now and hear a word from them. We'll be right back to dig in and see what's going on.
Company is a locally owned family business that has proudly served the Middle Tennessee area since 1934. We have a wide selection of furniture, appliances, electronics, and mattresses for every budget and design taste. We carry the brands that you know and trust, so you're sure to find exactly what you're looking for. Need financing? We have you covered. With our service department, you can rest assured that we will take care of you after the purchase. Visit our Shelbyville store at 400 Madison Street today.
Again, we want to thank our sponsors and guys, two great sponsors, First Bank, Brent Kennedy and his gang down there on Madison Street.
Brent Kennedy is the longest tenured sponsor of Shelbyville Now.
He's been here from day one. First Bank has really been good for us, and we appreciate them and get out and support those guys. Also, Kincaid.
Service.
Company.
And you know what you've always said, Bill, you hate hauling stuff off.
I don't haul stuff
you buy
off.
a refrigerator, they'll bring you your new refrigerator.
And they're going to take the other one off.
Yep. That's a big plus. That's something that don't happen at the big box store.
That's right.
So we want to thank those guys.
And they work on stuff. They don't
Yeah.
tell you just when something breaks, go buy a new one. That's pretty much what you get at the chain store. Something
Yeah.
breaks, they're going to fix it. They're going to make it right.
Yep, absolutely. Well, guys, football season is here. We've got our three high school teams, Cascade, Shelbyville Central, Community. Then we have Webb, of course. I'm not sure what Webb's got going on right now, but I'm sure it's like everybody else. But we've got Cascade, Community, and Central in 7-on-7s right now.
The
Central's
disadvantage
playing.
that Webb's got too that we need to mention this too is that poor coach. That's a boarding school. He doesn't get his kids.
Right.
That's right.
He doesn't get them until right before the season starts. So he doesn't have the advantage that all these other schools have at 7-on-7.
I
Even
will-
at his kids.
I will say Coach Carter said that they're doing a 7-on-7 Wednesday against Webb.
Good.
So
But I don't know how many of his kids
But
will
you
have.
don't know how many of them he's got.
Well, let's dig into Shelbyville Central.
Okay.
We've got coming off of a big season last year, a big turnaround. Probably one of the stories of last year was Central's turnaround. And we've got some players that are moving on, of course, and we're left with a pretty good core of players, Bill.
Really good senior class right here that Shelbyville's got some really good high character kids and good football players.
Yes, and we've got some young players that are going to be making some big impacts as well.
Sophomore class is really
Yeah,
strong at Central.
yeah.
And I think this freshman bunch coming in's got some players in it too.
Yeah, they do.
And there's some pretty good juniors as well. But the sophomore class is a big class as
Well,
well.
I mean, they got 3 years. Harris was district champion, so that's
They're moving into
junior,
the mix.
that's sophomore, junior, and
For sure.
freshman.
Mhm.
So
Last year,
And let's talk about Harris for just a second. I think that's got a lot to do with the Shelbyville turnaround too. So it's a great job those coaches at Harris Middle School do.
Mhm.
Every year it seems like
Oh yeah.
They just reload down there.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what them coaches are doing. They're walking them hallways getting people to play football.
That's right. That's right.
Because part of recruiting is in your own building, folks. You got to get the kids in your school to be willing to play.
Yeah. I've got a preliminary roster here in front of us, and it's a pretty good number of players, sophomore, juniors, and seniors. And then when you mix the freshmen in, I don't know exactly how many we're going to have, but I think we're going to probably have 25 or 30 freshmen joining this group that we have here. So our numbers are going to be up in the 60s, I would say. And I know Coach Dryden will talk about his numbers more when we get going and he gets to come on and talk to us. But let's just talk about the roster to start with. It's my understanding there's a big battle at quarterback. There's 4 on the roster. Of course, you've got Mason Shavers. He is a senior. He got some playing time last year at certain times. I know he's been working in the off season. And then you've got of course, we've got Stephen Bobo coming up as a sophomore. He got to get in some games. He played a lot last year as a freshman, and he makes an impact when he's on the field, guys.
I'm going to mention something about Stephen that's non-football related. Y'all may not know this, but he made the freshman All-American baseball.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody knew that or not. That's a big honor.
Yeah, it's huge.
And the thing about Stephen and William both is they can play offense and defense. They're very good in the secondary as well.
Yeah, so you got to Stephen as a sophomore, and then you've got Caden Cantrell. He's a junior.
And I heard he's looked pretty good, David.
Yes,
I've heard good things about him. I've heard he's looked good.
A lot of good things about him. And also we know Ben Betzelberger. He can throw the ball.
Sure he can.
He's an athlete, and he's a kicker.
I think he's coming off an injury right now, and I don't know when he's going to be available because I think he had a pretty good injury.
So just
but
talking,
he can spin it.
Just talking to the head coach yesterday, he said there's a real battle going on there, and I'm anxious to see how this plays out. You got these 4 fighting it out, and it looks like there's 2, of course, that had experience there. And, of course, Stephen was a quarterback at Harris.
Right.
Mason was a quarterback out at Liberty. Mason's been on the team, of course, for now it's 3 years going into his senior season. Great kid. And, of course, Stephen's
a weapon. He can play a lot of different positions from receiver to quarterback to running back. So Stephen Bobo can run the football.
Yeah, he can. And you get into scrimmages and stuff, and I think you'll start to see who your quarterback's going to be. But it's going to be interesting to watch that. Then, of course, you've got your 2 big running back. You got Rocky Chandler coming off a huge year last year.
MTSU commitment.
Yeah, MTSU commitment. He's going to play at MTSU at the next level, and I'm anxious to see what he does this year. I know that line's important in front of him, but you get the ball in his hands in open space, and he's going to take it.
Yep.
He's taking it to the house. You got Robert Bailey as well.
Robert Bailey's a specimen.
Yeah, he is.
He's a specimen. And both of these kids will get the defense in a minute. Can rush the passer.
Right. One addition this year that's new, a senior, Zion Bonner.
Can rush the passer.
Right. He's 6'4", lanky, quick. He's going to wreak havoc on the defensive
really
side
good
of the
length.
ball.
He's got long arms.
Outside linebacker. Then
Zion's going to be big for him. That's big having him out there.
Let's talk about William Bobo, LeBron Ransom at wide receiver. 2 good targets for our quarterbacks there.
They both had great off seasons too, LeBron and William. And William, again, on defense is good. LeBron's good on defense. These kids go both ways.
Yeah. So you've got you're pretty solid there. So the big question gets down to our line. Okay, well, let's talk about our offensive line. You've got Ian Matusik coming back. He'll be a senior this year. Then you've got Chandler Case, freshman coming
strong kid right there.
I mean, he got in and played quite a bit toward the middle of the season, all through the latter part of the season last year, and made an impact in Columbia game. He got in to see some of his first action. I was impressed as a freshman. So coming as a sophomore,
and again, he's really disruptive in the defensive line as well. Yeah. Chandler Cates can disrupt and collapse the pocket.
Yeah. Then you got Caleb Smith. You've got Colton Clardy. There's some seniors there that's coming up, and I'm sure they're going to put together a pretty good line again.
I think that's the thing Coach talked about before. Like last year I think he said he had 32 linemen in the total that were linemen, and that's something Shelbyville has not had in 30 years. I don't know if they've ever had 30 linemen. Every years Kenny had a hard time getting 30 to play back in the day. We had 40 on the team. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, let's talk about our linebackers. All right, you've got McBee that's going on. He's left us.
Led the
He's
state in tackles.
graduated. Yeah, led the
I
state
believe he led the
tackles.
state in tackles last
Yeah,
year.
he had more tackles than I think the two closest people to him. We just didn't have the stats to
Right.
show it. But you've got that big void to fill. Who do you guys think can come in and fill that gap? I know we've got Cohen Abernathy. Last year he broke his foot, I think, in the Columbia game and missed the rest of the year. He had some experience. He's a senior coming back, and then you've got Brody Lavorne, who was big all year last year.
You ought to be better this year.
And then you've got, of course, Rocky at outside linebacker, Robert Bailey at linebacker, then Zion. I think our linebackers are going to be pretty good shape here.
Well, when you have somebody that graduates that meant so much and has the numbers that McBee had, you don't replace them.
Yeah.
The rest of your team has got to come together, and it's going to be more of a don't look for one person to replace him.
Yeah.
It's going to be a team effort, and you've named out quite a few names that
and there's one.
They're all going to have to come together, and then as that happens, there will be somebody that will start emerging.
I'll tell you who it's going to be. I'm going to make this prediction right now. Besides these that we've mentioned, Nate Zimmerman.
Oh, yes.
Coming sophomore. Went to the state in wrestling as a freshman. The kid is strong.
He's going to be a baller.
Fast, and I think he's a ball hawk.
I do too.
I think you put him out there, he's going to be that guy that emerges, and these other guys are so solid. I think we're going to look at a defense.
But the difference between Zimmerman and McBee is the size.
Yes.
Zimmerman's a smaller guy who's going to rely more on his quickness.
And he is quick.
He's quick. You got to have somebody.
And he's strong.
He is
really strong. So you've got that situation taking place.
I mentioned this little kid. He played well at times. Tyson Dunn. He gave you some valuable minutes last year.
Yeah, but Tyson is going to be playing on the line.
Right.
He's moving up to the line because last part of the year, we had some injuries on the line.
And he played well.
And he came in and he filled the gap, man.
Yeah, he did.
And he's small, but he's quick and
he's
strong.
Quick and strong.
He made a big play or two, a quarterback sack. I can't remember what game it was. It was just out of the blue. He came in and he got 2 sacks back to back.
He sure did. I remember well.
I think that defense is going to shore up. Question mark for the Central Eagles is going to be the offensive line, I think. And you see a core there that looks like it's going to be all right. But I think if you ask Coach right now, what's the biggest question mark, and that's going to be it.
Well, the thing about Shelbyville, you talk about their line. Shelbyville's not going to line up and pound you. They're going to be a spread. They're going to use the field. They're going to use their weapons, and their weapons is speed. And so they're going to spread the field, which means the defense is going to have to spread, and the offensive linemen aren't going to have to manhandle people.
Yeah, the pressure's not there.
They're just going to have to create a seam for Rocky and them to get through, and then once they get through the initial seam, then they're on their own to do what their abilities are. But they're not going to overpower people, and that's not their game.
Right.
That's not going to be.
But we were able to overpower people because of that running back that graduated. When it was 3rd and 1, and we gave it to him. When we gave it to Radon, he would do it himself.
Yeah.
There
I don't
you
know
go.
that we have that because he was doing it himself.
That's what you're talking about, himself. But
all right, we got a guest on our chat. Kyle Brown says, "Welcome back, guys." Kyle, it's good to be back.
Hey, brother Kyle, good to hear from you.
Let's talk about the beginning part of the season. First, we've got Siegel, and Siegel is will be playing there on the 22nd, August 22nd. That's a Thursday night. And we want to start out better than we did last year. That was our regular season loss of the year, was against them.
And what you could tell, we didn't have a trainer or whatever. Yeah. We had not been tackling. That was clear. That was as poor tackling games I'd ever witnessed. I think if you had played Siegel mid-season,
oh gosh,
I think we'd have beat them by 3 or 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, I think. Well, you just never know.
But this year, we've got a trainer. I believe we're going to be tackling. I believe we'll be ready week 1. But your first 3 games are out of conference. You've got Siegel, Marshall County, Coffee County.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell y'all, don't sleep on Marshall County over there. We're going to talk about 7-on-7 in a minute. It's out here in 7-on-7. Marshall County's got some athletes this year.
Yeah, they always
do. They always do.
Yeah. it's going to be interesting to see how this preseason goes and how we shape up. I'm anxious to see this first scrimmage.
And I think these 7-on-7 we'll get to touch on here too. We were up at Riverdale yesterday. Today they're up at Lebanon. They played Centennial this morning. We're playing the big boys up there.
Yes.
Now, does 7-on-7 mean anything? You said it before the show.
Yeah.
You could win all the 7-on-7s in the world and go 0-10.
Yeah.
But what it does do is it gets your skilled people and your quarterback, your rhythm, your timing, and it's good to do.
Gets them a lot of reps with some competition.
And I heard a coach this morning on a radio show talk about the 7-on-7, and it's not about winning. He said a lot of times I like to see my kids not be successful to see how they respond.
Exactly.
Or I want to see a kid that he said, I got a kid that's all state, going to play college ball, and I just set him out. And I put a younger kid in to cover. This is at the Riverdale tournament, and just put him out there on an island, just see what he could do.
Yeah.
Said he lost some, but he got better. And that's what this 7-on-7 stuff
I
is
think
about.
the biggest
It's
game.
not about
Yeah.
And if here's the thing, as a coach, if you go into 7-on-7, and everybody wants to win, but if you go into 7-on-7 and your whole goal is to win, you're losing the battle.
Right.
Yeah.
Your whole goal is to get each individual player better and then start playing together, because it really doesn't count. It really doesn't mean anything until
And you're
you
not
start
getting hit.
and you're not putting pads
Yeah.
on. You're not having the quarterback's not being rushed. He's under a clock timer. That's fine. But it's football, but it's not football.
Yeah.
No.
I think the thing that you were talking about, that coach talking about putting that kid out there on an island by himself, I think the most advantage that comes from this is probably your defensive backs get to work. And if they lose, I mean, they can see where they're at individually, but your coach can see how they're going to respond.
The thing about losing a play with a player, are you going to lose a play, or are you going to lose 4 plays in a row?
Yeah.
So how is that kid going to bounce back
Right.
from adversity? And that's the only way you get better with anything is through adversity.
Yep.
If you go out and win, you don't know what's going to happen to a player when they get in an adverse situation. Are they going to lay down?
Yeah.
Are they going to step up? So you and like you said, Chevel's playing against this. You want to play against better competition.
Yes.
You don't get better unless you play against better competition.
But what does that kid do when he fumbles? What does he do when he throws an interception? Some kids, it goes to the next play.
Right.
And there's other ones. I'm going to mention Stephen Bobo. If he
Lose
turns it
3 in a
over,
row.
he's done right after the play. He's going on to the next one.
They've got to
Don't bother
flush
him.
it. Just got to
Yeah,
flush
I
it.
mean,
Flush it and go on.
That's the way it's got to be.
All right, guys.
It's not in a lot of kids to do that.
Let's stop for a second and hear from one of our sponsors, First Bank, and we'll be back, and we'll shift gears and talk about Cascade.
Oh, yeah, they got a new coach. We can talk about that.
Yeah, we'll be right back. All right, welcome back in here again. We thank First Bank for being one of our sponsors. We want to change gears now and talk about Cascade. Next week, we planned on having him today, but he couldn't make it. He had a conflict, but we're going to have the new coach, Jacob Karkoff, and he's a familiar name in Bedford County. Kenny, I know that you had some the Karkoff family was involved in the program when you were head coach, and let's talk a little bit about what Cascade's got returning. What changes that they're going to be going through. I know that's going to be a little different style offense, and they've got a lot of players that are going to have to step up because they lost some seniors.
I talked to Jared. He came by the office the other day, and I told him I'm staying away. This is his program. If he's going to do a great job, he's already been successful. Like I told you guys, the Hunter kid at Colorado. That plays he coached him in high school, so he knows what he's doing. And if he needs any advice, as long as he remembers his dad's phone number, he can get the best advice in the world.
Yeah.
But he's excited. He's got a good young staff. He brought 2 guys with him, his defensive coordinator, Isaac Eubank, and his quarterback coach is Brevin Lennell. And together with Jared and those 2 guys, They have a combined 7 state championships. That's Georgia and South Carolina.
Yeah.
So that they play pretty good football there. He said he's got a young team. Of course, we knew Cascade had a lot of seniors last year. So he only has 5 seniors this year, but expecting a great year out of Noah Hawkins. Noah had a pretty good year. Noah's got to stay off the injury. He got banged up quite a bit last year. And Christian Casey, he's looking really forward to them. And he made a comment on some other players, Caden Hill, Joe Bailey, and then he's going to have a freshman quarterback that, the way I understand, is going to be pretty good.
Right.
I've heard him really spin it.
Peyton Wireman, a freshman, and they've gone to several different 707s. I know they went to UT, played up there. He said they played against teams from 5 other states. Started out slow. This is totally, you think of Cascade when Coach Kenny was there, when I was there, and Jake, we ran the football. Well, Jerry's going to be a little different. They're going to be spread. They're going to run the ball, but they're going to be spread. So take some adjustment, and then playing with a freshman quarterback. But he's excited. They're excited, and he thinks they've gotten better so far. Finish up Wednesday again at Webb. Webb's their last 7-on-7 Wednesday, and then they get ready like everybody else.
Yeah. So they'll start scrimmaging, and practice started Monday. Officially, right?
No, you came back from dead period on Monday.
Right.
But
2 weeks with no pads, right?
That's the same, but I'm not sure. Pads is usually 4 weeks before your first game.
Right. So we're getting
July.
close. We're getting close.
It's
to that.
getting pretty.
Yeah.
They're a week or 2 away.
Yeah.
Most programs right now after this week, and some of them are really concentrating on physicals and all the papers and all that kind of stuff. But,
well, they opened up with Moore County.
I was going to mention
opened
that.
up again with Moore County. Tough game.
Tough game.
At Moore
But
County.
the coach's son's gone, right?
Oh yeah,
He's gone, but they still got some kids coming back.
well, the talk down there, they're excited.
Oh, I'm sure.
They
I'm sure.
Are.
They got a lot of kids coming back, but it's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. I'm going to try to get out and watch them Wednesday.
The white kid is gone at Moore County, isn't he?
He graduated.
Yeah, he graduated.
Yeah, he was a Mr. Football.
It was the girls' basketball I'm thinking of, where Chad Spencer didn't have a senior last year and went to the States. That's what I was thinking of. They had a senior on the team. That was girls. Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be interesting to see how things shift gears a little bit at Cascade with this change in offense and the new coach. And we want to wish him the best. We can't wait to have him in next week to talk to us.
Seeing him, he's Jared's at Cascade. When he came in, when Coach Carter came in, his dad Maurice, Jared was a 7th grader. So his whole career
he grew up
at Cascade. So
so that's going to be a fun thing to watch this year. And then of course we've got community. We still got those freshmen and sophomore from last year. They're now sophomores and juniors.
Correct.
So it's going to be interesting to watch community. How
be interested to see how many kids Coach Grooms has got out this year too.
Right,
that'll be interesting.
We'll be talking to him.
I assume they're going to be better.
Yeah, I would think so. Of course, they lost their big senior.
Yeah,
last year.
Yeah,
their go-to guy, and their he was their rock.
Right.
When they needed something,
he
they
was
had
playmaker.
So this year it's going to be. You would think that they're going to have some kids step up into some positions.
Just so tough on them playing 3A football. They open at Lewis County. I mean, the schedule for them is just brutal.
It's going to be a tough.
Got to play Giles, and it's just tough.
But I'm anxious to hear Coach Grooms and Coach Edie, and hopefully they can.
And we'll have our community show. I believe Coach Grooms will do it on Coach Edie on Wednesdays. I believe like we did last year.
Just like last year, and I know Coach Karkov wants to do his show, and we're going to do something with him, and of course. Coach Dryden with Central. So we're going to have those 3 coaches on a regular basis and giving reports. And I'm excited.
I think it'll be a good year.
Yeah,
it'll be a different year. I mean, this is a new year. It's time for you talking about freshmen and sophomores. It's time for them to step up.
Yeah,
it's time for them to step up. You know, they've been in the, let's just say, the incubator, and getting It's time, you know, and a lot of that comes with how much JV time did they get last year, and that's big, you know.
It's going to be fun to watch how some of these sophomores going from sophomore to junior, the names that we didn't hear about this year, they're going to come out.
Sure.
And that's going to be fun to
I
watch.
agree.
Let's pause now and hear a word from Kincaid Service Company. We'll be back and we're going to dig into some other stuff.
Company is a locally owned family business that has proudly served the Middle Tennessee area since 1934. We have a wide selection of furniture, appliances, electronics, and mattresses for every budget and design taste. We carry the brands that you know and trust, so you're sure to find exactly what you're looking for. Need financing? We have you covered. With our service department, you can rest assured that we will take care of you after the purchase. Visit our Shelbyville store at 400 Madison Street today.
I know you back.
All right. Welcome back in here. Again, we want to thank Kincaid
Service
Company
as a sponsor here for Bedford County Sports Talk Live. Bill, you got a lot of stuff on that notepad there, and it looks like college football. You're already fired up about
I'm fired up. Now, let me tell you, and David, I called you the other day when I realized this. Kenny, I called David and I said, did you realize college football starts on the 24th of August, right? It's Florida State and Georgia Tech. But then you get to Thursday, the 29th. You got college football the 29th on a Thursday, a Friday, a Saturday, a Sunday, and a Monday.
nonstop.
It can't get no better than that.
What's wrong with that?
That's awesome.
If you got good TV,
Yeah.
if you can get them all on through the night.
Well, here's my
streaming.
question.
I do think the Sacred Cow Friday nights, though, has been taking that back because you get look to me like looking at that schedule. There's a lot of college football on
Yeah.
Friday nights, which we didn't
Yeah.
used to do that. And I don't think I like
and
that.
it's something
I don't
that
like
I've
that
noticed. There's more that's only going to be live streaming
Yeah.
than on the regular network.
Well, that's where we're coming, folks.
Streaming's getting there.
It's coming.
As bad as Kenny Parker is with all this streaming stuff, he better get ready because
Yeah.
it's on its way.
Have you got
That's
your
the
apps
future.
downloaded? That's the question. Have you got
No,
your apps
I don't.
I hand it to my daughter and I say, Julia, make it work.
There
Make
you
it
go.
work.
You've been living in my house. Huh?
All right, let's
Julia, man, she can. She could sit there with that remote. It would take me an hour to fix
All right,
it.
I got some questions for you guys. All right, we've got the SEC this year, big change. We got Texas and Oklahoma joining it. Which one of those two do you think will have the greatest success in the
Texas.
SEC? Texas, no
Texas.
doubt. Oklahoma seems like they're just kind of not going to have it.
They're going
All
to be
right.
5 or 6.
Next question: what happens at Alabama without Mr. Saban?
They're going to be very good because they got a
They're
really
really
good
good.
coach.
They're going to be good, and I'm going to tell you right now, the kids love playing for him.
Okay,
He's gonna be good.
Love playing
Now
for him.
it's big
And
shoes.
I'll tell you right now, he's done a great job recruiting also.
okay.
He is recruiting. He's number 2 right now and really, really steamrolling.
So, are you predicting that we're not going to miss a beat with the
I'm not going to say you're not going to miss a beat. I'm going to say it's going to be a different song.
Okay.
It's going to be a different kind of
Georgia's still class of the league.
Georgia's the team right
That's
now.
the team.
But I think Alabama is, and here's the thing. Alabama's going to get better. Georgia's going to be good. But then you got Texas.
Oh, I know.
And
man.
you got Ole Miss. And you can be a really good team and be 4th.
Yeah.
And that's the sneaky team. How Missouri did. I know Ole Miss isn't sneaking up on anybody.
Yeah.
But that's the dark horse because,
I'm
buddy,
telling you, yeah.
Mr. Kiffin can hit that transfer
Mhm.
portal, and he hit it really well.
Well,
And he
always
recruited
does.
well, but the
He
portal's
always
where
does.
he owned it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Aaron Parker comes in here
Good.
from part to unknown.
We know what part.
We know where he's at. Aaron, it's good to see you back in there. He
Good to
says,
hear
does
from
the
you.
new college football playoff start this year also? All right, so here's my question. How many of these SEC teams will make that playoff, guys? I'm putting you on the spot right now. We don't know what it's going to look like.
I'd say it could be as many as 6.
That was my
telling
number
you,
was
man,
6.
It could be.
I'm telling you, it is getting to where it's the SEC and the Big Ten.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
That's where we're at.
It's SEC and the Big Ten. And I was talking to somebody, you said I got a haircut at the barbershop yesterday, and said Florida State is even looking at going to the Big Ten, not coming to the SEC.
Because they're
Kenny,
not-
I believe a razor could do that a little better than a haircut.
Hey,
You got much left of her.
hey, you got to get your money's worth so you don't have to go back.
Go back.
All right, I'm not going to put y'all on the spot and ask for predictions today, but I want us in a couple of weeks to start throwing some predictions out here for this playoff. I mean, this is the fun part, just seeing how
Mhm.
bad we can do at it, So think about it. But Bill, you've got a lot of more stuff there written down. I
Well-
see you're following some other teams here
Well-
that bring some interest.
Some of these games early are fascinating to me that are just going to be really good. I think on that Thursday night, North Dakota State and Deion Sanders is interesting.
That's an interesting.
That's
game.
just an interesting game. North Dakota
I'm,
State's
I'm,
pretty
gonna,
doggone
I'm
good.
gonna tell you a team to watch out for this year.
Okay, who?
Oregon.
Okay.
Oregon.
Always looking out for them.
That guy,
Yeah, he's
he
a good
knows
one.
what he's doing.
Yeah, he does.
But you got Clemson and Georgia.
I know.
First week of the
I
season.
know.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now,
It is for
Miami and
Georgia.
Florida. Notre Dame, Texas A&M. I mean, LSU,
Mm-hmm.
USC on Monday night. I mean, how's
That's
it
the
get
big
better than
games.
this?
Hey, you forgot Tennessee, Chattanooga.
Well, I have it written down,
Yeah.
but I don't think I'm going to much of a ball game. But you're talking about really great ball games to start the year, not the typical cream puff game.
Yeah.
Sure. Right.
That's where one of these big teams though could really stumble. Is on a game like this one where you
Yes.
don't have that
Yeah,
warm
but
up
you-
game.
You're going to take 12. You're going to take 12 this year. It's not 4.
Well, I
You
see
got-
the biggest question mark on that list right there to me is Clemson. What are they going to do? Where are they?
We're
Unless
and I'm
he-
going to tell you right now, that's a game Clemson didn't want
Exactly.
to. That'd be a tough game.
They can
Unless
come out
they-
there and get steamrolled. It's going to be a tough bounce back for them.
Unless Dabo Swinney. And by the way, Judge White Burke looks like Dabo Swinney.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, Judge. But anyway, if he doesn't get a handle on NIL
Right.
and the transfer portal and accept the way the game's changed, he's going to continue to slide.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or don't like it, that's
agree.
where we're at. And
You gotta-
Clemson's not
listen.
participating
Here's the difference between Saban and Dabo. Saban changed.
all
Yeah.
the time.
Saban changed. I mean, he was a hit you in the mouth, run the football, and then what happened? It didn't work. So what did he do?
Go get Lane
He
Kiffin.
Yeah.
brought in Lane Kiffin. He brought in Steve Sarkisian.
Yep.
Uh,
Well,
Yeah.
guys, it's
He
going
was
to
all
be.
about winning.
We're going to talk more, and we're going to have some predictions over the next couple of weeks before the season starts. So y'all
well, how
get
about
ready for that.
MTSU? Let's talk about MTSU. a
Hey,
little
I'm
bit.
anxious.
Hey, I'm happy for Mason.
Yes.
He is he's
getting some
coming in
good
the
kids.
state. He's coming in the state. He's local.
And he's been sneaky good in the transfer portal.
Yeah,
I don't
he
think a
has.
lot of people
Yeah.
realize getting some. He's got about 8 or 10 from big
We
schools.
want to keep them. We want to keep
Yeah,
them.
we're
yeah,
gonna
we're going
definitely
to have
talk
to
about that.
definitely talk
Sure,
about that
exactly.
because we got some local ties there, guys.
Mhm.
We've got our 2 Cascade boys over there
Mhm.
that's going to be starting
And
this
Rocky
year
Chandler.
and into the
then
program,
Rocky.
and
And
you
they
got
won't be
Rocky
the
coming.
only ones. There'll
I
be
think
some
there may
more.
be
You
one
got
or
your
two off that
your
Shelbyville team.
yeah, and
that
your
may be at
Tullahoma
MTSU.
kicker is over there.
Is over there. Yep.
We've got some local ties. That's what makes this interesting, and with having Mason
Sure.
going local like this,
Exactly.
it makes it like, hey, let's watch
I
our
agree.
kids. You know?
Where you're going to see
So-
a difference is in attendance. It may not be this year, but down the road when you get the local kids, that's how you get butts
Yep.
in the
Well,
seats.
that's
and,
right.
and here's the thing: if they don't get in the seats, it's not his fault.
Right.
It's
Right.
it's our fault for not supporting
Right.
our kids.
But
we
the
gotta
way
get over there.
MTSU had been going the last 10 years, they wouldn't recruit anybody local
No,
hardly
but,
at all.
but if we don't get in the seats,
That's
Right.
true.
it's
The
not.
stadium looks empty, and
That's
it
right.
needs to start filling
And
up.
what was sad was Mike Matusik was so nice to take us a couple games last year, was watching. There's plenty of people in the parking lot. They just don't come in the game.
That's terrible.
There's 30,000 people sitting out there tailgating, and they never bother to walk in the game.
Okay.
There was
It's got-
more outside partying
It's
than there
more,
was
it's
in the
more
game.
about the tailgate than it was about the football, and it's got to be the opposite.
Opposite way.
Yeah.
At Tennessee,
All
when
right.
they're tailgating, what do you think?
They go up
When that
there.
game
they-
starts,
they-
Alabama,
Yeah.
ain't nobody out of the parking lot. Everybody's watching
yeah.
football.
They forget about that chicken leg sitting
Right.
over there. They go up there and watch that game. All
That's
right,
right.
guys, let's change gears now. Let's start talking about a little bit of NFL. Let's
Okay.
talk about Titans. Bill, I know you talked about a safety that we signed.
It's big.
Uh,
It's a big signing in one way. Jamal Adams in 2017 was the number
Yeah.
6 pick in the draft.
I'm going to tell you, I was disappointed the year he was drafted that he wasn't drafted by the Titans. I'm glad to see him a Titan now because I've always thought that young man could play the game.
Yeah.
But they signed him for the veteran minimum $1.1
Well,
million.
that's because the last
Sure.
2 years he
Yeah.
hadn't been able
It's a
to
big
play.
question mark.
That's right.
But
They're
from
hoping he's a-
2017 to 2019, he was an All-Pro.
Yeah.
Sure.
Under Denard Wilson was his secondary coach, who is now our DC, who knows him well. He's physical. In 2020, he set an NFL record with 9.5 sacks.
And the
That's the
reason-
record for a secondary person.
And the reason he's at Tennessee is because of the defensive coordinator.
Right.
Yes.
He wouldn't have been at Tennessee any other way
Nope.
but him and the defensive coordinator
Well, this
Have
is.
a lot of
It
ties
seems like
together.
that they have concentrated on this defensive backfield with the acquisitions they've got. You look at that cornerback. Oh man, he's a stud.
You've gone from probably one of the worst, if not the bottom
to
three,
one of the best.
to maybe a top 5 secondary.
Well,
Still got
I
some
mean,
weaknesses at safety because I really believe
it's-
Jamal Adams is going to be more of a joker hybrid
it's
than
come.
he's going to be a safety.
It's come to see. I mean, it will be, and you got all these guys. They all got to conform to new everything. Of course, they're pros, but still, you've got to be together to gel together. It's just like the vegetable soup that you make.
Yeah.
It's better the second day than it is the first day.
One thing I'm hearing about the Titans, and we got to wind things up here in a second, but let's talk about Will Levis. I keep hearing about how he is taking the leadership role of that team and putting that team on his back during this offseason. Last year, as that starting quarterback, he didn't seem to have that mesh, but he's developed every game that he played. And now in the offseason, he's taking it up a level. Bill, what are you hearing from your sources?
I'm hearing he looks really good. I mean, taking those players to Cabo with him and working out with him and doing stuff on his own. I hear he's the first one in the building and he's the last one to leave.
That's what it's going to take, right there.
And that's what it takes.
That's what wins your teammates over.
Absolutely. Now you've put weapons around him. You've improved the offensive line. You've got the greatest offensive line coach, in my opinion, possibly in NFL history, as his daddy, Mr. Callahan. Is an awesome coach.
Yeah.
And defensively, look at the Ravens and watch how they play defense, and they're always attacking. Well, for good or bad, that's what this bunch is fixing to do. They're going to be blitzing and hitting, and it's coming, and it's going to be physical. But offensively, you've got some really nice weapons now. Calvin Ridley, I hear, looks awesome. I hear the minute you go on the practice field, he's just different.
Yeah.
Speed-wise, route-wise, and then you've got a Hall of Famer, DeAndre Hopkins. And Tyler Boyd, an underrated slot receiver, it was a pretty good player for them in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And then you got 2 running backs now in Spears and Pollard. You're not going to know what they're doing now.
Yeah.
It's not going to be first and second down. We're running.
It's going to be a little different style now.
Yes.
I mean,
and
on
I think
offense.
that both those backs can catch the football. And in today's game, that's huge.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
It's
it is.
huge.
Well, guys, it's
My son chimed in. Hey, he's got a pretty good team up there this year too.
Yeah, Green Bay ought to be really, really good.
We'll unpack some more of this as we
and
move
they've changed defensive coordinators and done some things, and Jordan Love fixing to get paid.
Yeah, and before long, we'll be talking about the first game, the Hall of Fame game. It'll be here before you know it.
Yeah,
It's
it's
here in a couple of weeks down the road.
August 8th.
Yeah, 3 weeks from now.
Bears and Texas.
So, guys, it's here. And, man, I'm
It's getting
excited. And I'm glad we're sitting down here today because I've been missing this.
Yeah.
Guys.
Oh,
I
yeah.
tell you. But we've been missing you guys too.
Absolutely.
And we look forward to this year. And I just encourage you to chat. We see Brittany Miller. She came in there, Rocky Chandler. Let's go. So obviously a big Rocky Chandler fan. And also we're going to have more and more people joining us on chat this year. We want to hear from you guys. Thanks for watching this morning. This is our kickoff show.
We want to hear from them, and we want to know what they want to hear.
Yeah. Sure. What do you want us to talk about?
Let us know what you want us to talk about. And because we're here for you guys.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get with Coach Grooms this week, and I'm going to have some more community stuff next week.
We're going to have more community stuff, more Cascade stuff, specifically next week with Coach Karkoff. And I know he'll want to talk about some college ball too, and the Titans because, hey, these coaches, they're all football.
That's right. It's time.
Well, guys, thanks for watching.
Thank you.
We'll be back again next week, same time, same place with our special guest, and we'll see you then. And again, thanks to our sponsors, Kincaid Service Company.